Hello, and welcome back to Recursed the Ice Palace with Brian. Last time, at the end of the last episode, I was looking at Share, and I'd made some progress into it. Had kind of a feel for what was going on, but was just out of mental energy. Since then, off camera, I've taken a look at this puzzle. I do know how to solve it. I wrote a lot of notes also to analyze it. I want to talk about some of the reasoning that I used. And I also took a bunch of notes because I wanted to be able to write stuff down to try to learn from things, because I feel like in too many of these puzzles, I have come up with a solution, but I don't know that I came away with kind of like a lesson or a learning that I could use in future puzzles, and so I wanted to try to avoid that. Just as a reminder, there are only 4 rooms in this puzzle. There's the starting room here, which I'm going to call Blue Start, which has... which has a box behind a locked door that we're going to need. On the red side, there is the exit room, and the only thing that we would need to reach the exit is a box, and then we'd be able to get up there. Or a block, I guess I should call it. There is a box containing a key room with a fissure that allows us to create jars. However, the exit from this room is way up high. And finally, there is an enchanted chest that leads to a storage room that just looks like this, and it's pretty uninteresting, and that I like to call the storage room. So we've got the storage room, we've got the key room, we've got the exit room, and we've got the Blue Start. And I don't remember if I'd gotten all the way there. I'd gotten very close. I'd at least gotten to where I could get the key, and that was relatively easy to do. I'm going to need to do it on the red side for reasons. So let's start doing that, and I want to talk about one of the major insights or stumbling blocks or something that I had. So, in order to get to the key, if I jump down to the bottom, I can't jump up to where the key is. So I needed to throw the enchanted chest around from the right-hand ledge to the left-hand ledge in order to get over to where the key was. So one of the more obvious things to do at the beginning was to get the enchanted chest in here, and we can go ahead and just throw it down there for now. One of the less obvious things, for reasons that involve something I'm going to need later in the puzzle, is that we also need to go ahead and bring the cauldron in there. And I can leave it on the floor and get back out to the top using a jar. So at this point, I've managed to bring the enchanted chest in using the fact that it's enchanted and I could just leave it there. I've managed to bring the cauldron in using the fact that I have a jar or a coffee cup. And I will bring a third object in, the box itself, into its own room. And then we can do some things. So now I have all 3 of these objects in this room. And so this is like one interesting insight in terms of how do you bring 3 objects into a room? Well, if there's an enchanted object, you can bring it into a room and then leave the room and come back and grab something else. So enchanted object is one thing. If it's a room with a fissure, you can use a coffee cup to bring in one object and then exit the room. And then bring something else into the coffee cup, and that's what I did here. So basically, one object came in because it's enchanted, one object came in by creating a coffee cup by jumping into the box in the first place, and the third object came in by bringing it into the jar, into the coffee cup that I'd created from the fissure. So, I have these 3 objects. I can now get the chest over to where I want it to go. So, let's do that. I want to hop out of the chest near the key. So, I can jump in here, and now I'm falling. It's always dangerous to fall, because there's no way to get back up to the top. Well, we'll come back to that in just a moment. I can throw the chest over here, and now the fissure can get back up to the top, and the only reason that I created this coffee cup was to get back out of that stack frame. I don't need that coffee cup at all anymore. It just helped lift me up. So now I'm over here on the ledge with the key, and now I have access to the key for the first time. But now let's talk about kind of falling and the problem that I was having. Basically, anytime you fell off of the ledge with the fire at the top, The only way it seemed like to get back up was to use the fissure and create a coffee cup. And so I was thinking, basically, if that were true, basically it seems like at some point when you fall off the ledge, like, you can't get back up, because then if you hop into the coffee cup, there's no more green fire over here. So from here, there's no way for me to apparently ever get back up to the top. And so one of the things I was positing is I had the hypothesis, suppose it's impossible to ever get back up to that top fire. If that were true, could I solve the puzzle? And I decided that couldn't be true, because if it were true, I would never be able to get back up to the top level on the blue side, which is where I need to get the block, and or I'd never be able to get back up to the top level on the red side, which is where the exit is. So I decided there had to be a way to eventually get back up to that fire. And it was obviously going to involve the enchanted chest and cauldrons and different things. Because I need to be at the top level on both sides. Now, as it currently stands, I am currently, I guess, one level down on the red side. So the exit is right above me through the red fire. And on the blue side, I'm currently still at the top level. And now that we have the key, we can go over to the top level on the blue side and actually fetch the block. So we have the block available here. And now, here's one of the key insights. Now that we've gotten the block out of the blue side top level, we can kind of sacrifice the blue side top level and fall irrevocably down a stack frame where we won't be able to return, so long as we can use it to get back up a stack frame on the red side. So that's what I need to do next. So let's see. I got the block. I also need to bring the box over to the blue side. And then what? Then I need to take the cauldron into the enchanted chest. So now I'm going to be 2 frames down on the red side. And the reason I'm doing this is because eventually I want to hop out of the enchanted chest on the red side, up near the fire over there, so I can get back to the exit room at the top level of the red side. So now I'm inside the enchanted chest on the red side. So now my goal from here is to lift the chest so that I can hop out of it on the red side and get back up to the top level. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to use stuff on the blue side. So let's go to the blue universe. And now our singular goal is to be able to lift that chest up to the top. Okay. So, first off, I'm going to need the block on the red side. So let's move the block over to the red side storage room. So it's going to be safe there. We'll be able to carry it back when we're all done. Next, now we can start doing all the work on the blue side. So, we already have, once again, we want to get 3 objects in here. We already have the enchanted chest in here, so there's one of my 3 objects. The cauldron is going to be the second of the 3 objects. And so we'll drop it off in the room by creating a coffee cup. So now I've got 2 objects in the room. And the third object we need in the room is the box itself that contains the room. And we can jump into this jar. And now I've got all 3 of these objects down here. Now, on the red side, as a reminder, I have a block. And if I hop up, I will end up in popping out of the enchanted chest. And if I hop up another level, I would end up at the top level. And the problem is the enchanted chest is currently at the bottom, but I can move the enchanted chest to the top very easily now, like this. Enchanted chest is now at the top. And so now, on the red side, I can take my block, I can pop out of the enchanted chest, which is still in the same room, but now is up at the top of that room. And here I am at the top. And now, if I pop out of here, I'm at the top level. I've sacrificed everything, but I gained a block, and the block is all I need to win, I believe. Assuming I've got all the other reasoning right. Please let this win. Hooray! I did it. Okay. That one took a bit of time. I might even go ahead and splice in a photograph of drawing it all out on a sheet of paper as I tried to reason through it. But yeah, the 2 major bits were, 1, I was working under the assumption that once I kind of fell down off the top ledge, there was no way back up. I reasoned that if that were true, the puzzle was impossible, therefore there must be a way back up. That gave me the insight to use the opposite universe to lift the enchanted chest. And while playing around with it, I had kind of just the side, it's not so much of a big insight, but like, how do you get 3 objects into a room? Well, if one of them's enchanted, and one of them goes in via the fissure, and the third one goes in via the coffee cup, that's a way that you can get 3 objects in a room. So, that is another puzzle solved. There are paradoxes in there. For right now, I'm just going to mostly ignore the paradox rooms, and we might come back to them later. But let's move on to a new puzzle, because it's always fun to look at new puzzles. So, borrow. Here we go. Oh boy, 3 chests. This one has the exit room, has an enchanted block, locked doors, another box, water, ledges. This already looks like extremely complicated geometry. If this were underwater, it looks almost like I could like swim to the exit. And all I would need is a key. It does kind of look like that, doesn't it? Let's play around with that. Let's assume that I might need this at some point. And let's just drop this down here and see if this were underwater. Ah, I cannot swim all the way to the exit because there's this thing in the way now. So when it's underwater, these little floaty things pop up and change the geometry. So that's what I missed there. So we would need to be in the dry copy, it looks like, to get to the exit, maybe? What are these other rooms? This is a place where I can't get a key unless this room is dry, it looks like. And even if it's dry, I'd need, like, blocks to get at the key. And then let's take a look at what this room is. Oh my gosh. An oobleck that I need to swim to is how I read that. Okay. And there's still another room that I haven't seen, which is the room over there to the right. Okay. So how could I get that one room dry? If I do this, I guess I can just swim out of here with this. Yeah, so I could get a room. I could get this room. Oh, but I can't go in here. Interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. So I can't go in this chest while it's dry from up here. There's no dryness in here now, right? I could have made a jar of dryness at the start. Let's try that. So let's make a jar of dryness. There's a jar of dryness, which hopefully we'll be able to put to use somehow. And the most obvious how to use the jar of dryness is to dry off this room. Unfortunately, can I get back out of here? Yes, I can get back out. Okay, that's pretty good then. Okay, so we use the jar of dryness. And now the problem is, if I had a block, I think I could get to that key. Okay, so I've already used up the jar of dryness. So let's try that again, but this time we will bring a block in. I would need the block already in the jar of dryness. So I think what I need to do for what I'm first going after here, I've already done it wrong, bring the block. Once again, this is kind of like the 3 object thing. Oh, I can't bring the block into far enough here. It's okay if I leave it here though, right? So if I bring that block in here, the block is in the jar of dryness. Then if I bring this chest into the jar of dryness, I can't fetch the block, and I can't lift up the chest. There's no way to fetch this block, right? Don't think so. Alright, so I still can't manage to bring a block into this dry chest to help me fetch the key. So that's not enough. And if I use the enchanted block somehow... Oh, here's an idea. What if... Now, I still, even with both of these, I was going to put one of the blocks up on the ledge and then throw the other one to, like, catch it on the side of the ledge, but I can't do that because I can't get one of them on the ledge in the first place. Alright, so that doesn't help me. Let's see. This one I can't do anything with yet. And remind me, the third one is the oobleck that needs to be underwater, right? I'd either need like 7 blocks to get up there, or more likely I need to get this chest underwater. So I could create a jar of wetness and bring it to this guy for the oobleck. Okay, there's a starting something. Let's assume that at some point I will want a jar of dryness. So let's get a jar of dryness. And then let's also get a jar of wetness that we can bring over to the oobleck room to try to fetch an oobleck. So here is a jar of wetness. And let's bring it over here so that I can fetch an oobleck. And now, I guess I can only get the one oobleck because now I'm sacrificing the oobleck room to get this oobleck. But let's imagine that's what I want to do. So now I have an oobleck, a duplication orb, and the question is, what object do I want to duplicate? It's definitely not useful to duplicate a jar. Oh, crap. I can't get back up here. So I would have had to have brought... I can't bring a block with me because I can't set a block on this platform. It would simply fall off. Okay, this is real trouble then. Because once I am down here, it seems like it is impossible to ever get back. So... I would have to bring a jar that contains not only wetness, but also all of the ingredients to get to the exit. I think is what I'm seeing. So here is a jar of dryness and exit room. And so, if I wanted to get a jar of wetness, it would also need to contain something. One of the somethings it would need to contain is a way to get at the key. And again, I don't know how to get at the key because I don't know how to get a block out. Well, I could bring this block. Okay, let's bring this block into the key room. Yeah, let's bring this block into the key room. I think it'll be safe there. Then we can move the key room into the jar of dryness. And then I think we can actually fetch the key. This was not the key room. No, it is. The key room is right here in my hand. Now I can fetch the key. The block has disappeared. Okay, the block... Okay, so setting it there was not a safe place to set it. So I need to set the block somewhere else. I think I can come up with a place to set that block somewhere else. If I think about it. Jar of dryness. I want to fetch the block out of here, the enchanted block. I can't set it anywhere safe in here because anywhere I set it here might be disintegrated when I come into the dry copy of this room. But I also can't bring it into the jar. I could bring it... Okay, here's what I could do. I could bring it here. That's fine. So let's leave it down there. Now it will also be in the jar. So in the dry jar, I'll have access to the block, which I can bring into the dry room. Yes. Okay. So I have a block that I've managed to bring into the key room in order to fetch the key. We've made some type of progress. It's not very good progress, is it? I need a second block. So I need to move the enchanted block in here, and then also bring the other block. How would I get the other block down here, though? Also, let's verify that simply moving the key here makes it disappear and doesn't make it, like, fall down to where I want it to be. Well, I don't know that I can even get... Yeah, I can't get this chest back up out of here to make it wet again anyway. This one seems tough. Here's an idea. What if I bring... I can't bring this block into the jar. Not at the bottom of the jar, anyway. Until it's wet. But I need a jar of dryness to bring the other chest into. I can move the enchanted block around because it's enchanted. I could bring one thing into the jar, but the problem is I want a dry jar, and I can only bring a thing into the wet jar and get it down to the fissure. Yeah, there's wetness over here, though, so maybe I could make wetness later. If I already had a key. But I don't already have a key. I still don't even know what's in that chest over on the right. It's probably a chest back into one of these other rooms. Oh, my brain. There's got to be some action here that I could take. Okay. We've made no progress, so it doesn't hurt to sacrifice things. So, in order to fetch this key, I believe I need 2 blocks in this room. 1 block will help me jump from the rightmost ledge up to the ledge above it. And the other block... would still not be enough, right? I have to, like, swim with the key. No, I could never swim with the key because I'd be in the wrong spot. How could I ever fetch this key? Because I can't carry the other block over. I could swim with the enchanted block? No, I could never be swimming in this room anywhere useful because anytime I entered this room when it's underwater, I'm trapped in this little area, right? So... it's impossible to ever fetch this key. Obviously that's not true, but I don't understand where the flaw is in my reasoning. Maybe there is a flaw in my reasoning, which is that I need to fetch the key. Maybe I don't need to fetch the key. Okay, here's an idea. What if you don't fetch the key? What if the key is a misdirection, and what you need to do is carry an oobleck orb into the key room to duplicate the key? So if that were the case, the oobleck room would need to be wet. And so long as I'm going to make a wet jar, I might as well throw this rock in it so that I have another thing to play around with, potentially. But let's make it, and I might as well bring it down to the bottom, right? Do I want to bring both these to the bottom? Let's say yes. Let's bring 2 enchanted rocks into a wet room. And then I think if I go to the left, like, it wouldn't help to carry any of those other objects. But I obviously need to carry one of the other objects. I need the key room is what I need. And if I have just the key room, I won't have access to the exit, so I need the exit room too. I can't fit all of these things in a jar. Oh, this is so frustrating. No, I have a jar of the exit room in my hand. So all I need to do is get the key room in there. Okay, so here is my latest idea. What would I ever do with this block then? I honestly don't know. So let's leave that block behind for the moment. So here's my current idea. I'm going to take a wet version of this room, along with the chest that produces keys, and the block. And I'm going to take a jar of that wetness over to the oobleck place. And then, yeah, bring this guy in here too. Okay. So, I can produce an oobleck. Great. Got an oobleck. I can bring it into the key room, where the key is completely unreachable. Oh, I need to hold the key. Darn it. Right. I was thinking if I'm holding the oobleck, it would turn into the key, but it's the other way around. I need to hold the key, and then the oobleck will turn into it. So I need some dryness. Can I get to any dryness now? Seems like no. There's no way to get to dryness from this room. And there's no way to get to dryness from this room. And I could duplicate any of those rooms. Could also duplicate blocks. This is interesting. So I can create as... Oh, I can duplicate blocks. I can create as many blocks as I want to. Which means I could pop out of this room. That's interesting. Like, I could create enough blocks to climb out of here. So this already creates some interesting possibilities. Ooh. Why is that sitting on that ledge? Shouldn't that be impossible? Objects do not sit on ledges like that. Also, this ledge is behaving like a platform that I can't hit my head on for reasons. When it's underwater, do ledges behave differently? Also, I don't need these blocks to just swim all the way back up here. Let's see. Is there something else I'd want to duplicate? Bring back out something, something, something. I could duplicate the key room. And now I have 2 key rooms. But I still can't make it dry. I'm starting to go some places here. I'm still not in the right spot, but I'm at least starting to see how the combination of possibilities might be able to be put together to do something interesting. So let's set a more specific goal rather than trying to solve the puzzle. Let's set the goal of get a key out of the key room. That is a simpler, smaller goal. to get the key out of the key room, I think I see a way to do it if the enchanted block were in a dry copy of the key room, and I carried an oobleck into the key room. So can I do that? So far as I know, the only way to even get a dry copy of the key room is via a jar. So let's get a dry jar. Then let's bring the enchanted block. I'm going to need 2 dry jars, aren't I? Because I need to bring the enchanted block into the dry copy of the key room, and then I need to go back into the dry copy of the key room later. Yeah, I think I need 2 dry jars for this, actually. And I'm still not sure where I'm using this block, so let's just not worry about the block for right now. But let's get 2 dry jars. Dry jar number 1. Dry jar number 2. Okay, one of the dry jars is going to be used for bringing the enchanted block into the dry key room. So to bring it into the dry key room, I need the enchanted block to be where I will be in the jar, which is right down there. Then I need to get into the dry key room, bring the block into the dry key room, and leave it here, which is now in a place where I could get my hands on the key. Okay, so that's part 1. And I can still get out of here. Oh, but there goes my key room. But I need to duplicate the key room first. I can't bring this box of the key room back. But let's imagine that I could. Let's imagine I had a box of the key room in my hand right now and try to reason through the rest of it. So let's imagine I still have a box of the key room. Then I would want a jar of wetness, like this, to bring over to the oobleck, and I'd want the key room to be inside this jar of wetness. So I would have wanted to carry the key room into the jar of wetness so that I had a key room right here. I grabbed an oobleck duplication orb. And then imagine that I could carry the oobleck duplication orb into the key room. Oh, but it would be wet and I wouldn't be able to swim over to the key. I'd need to bring it into the dry copy. So I still don't have a good way. I can get one oobleck out. What if I had left the key room up here? And then I could bring it into the dry key room, grab a key, and then I'd have a key over here, and no way to get the key anywhere else. Yuck. I don't see a way to carry or jar up enough state to bring it over to where I can use the oobleck profitably. I need both wetness and dryness. But in order to get both wetness and dryness, I feel like I need access to the little bit of water that's just over here to the right. I guess if I had more blocks... How many blocks do I need to jump over this, actually? Ah, one more would do it. Okay, well, okay. Here's the obvious thing that I have not tried. which is to find out what's in this box. It's the key room again! Okay, so there's another key room over here. That's probably a game changer. I've also probably used up all of my time for the day. So, I think I'll leave things there. And I've made enough progress in understanding this puzzle that I can probably think about it a bit more off camera, and hopefully we'll be able to solve it next time. What was the name of this puzzle again? This one was called Borrow. Alright. And, oh, we have access to this big box. So the other puzzles remaining are low tide, kind of like high tide, and then a day out is... I see, 6 more puzzles that are apparently very hard, is what I hear. As if these puzzles weren't already hard. But in any case, that's all I'm going to do for today. I hope, as always, that you guys are having a great day, and I will see you again soon with more Recursed, the Ice Palace, where, at least for the moment, I'm still making progress and still having fun. I'm not sure how far this will go, but we'll see. Have a great day, everybody.